AM weather is made possible by grants from the Federal Aviation Administration, the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, the AOPA Air Safety Foundation, National Aviation Insurance when personal service makes a difference, Phillips 66, providing products and services to pilots at 800 FBOs, ESD Weather Systems, and the 99s.
A good Thursday morning. Welcome to AM Weather. I'm Wayne Winston.
And I'm Joan Von Ahn. Well, that slow-moving front moving through the eastern part of the country again produced a lot of showers and thunderstorms along the entire length of the front. One of those thunderstorms moving through the area last night played some havoc with our satellite equipment, so unfortunately we have no motion or pictures to show you. We'll start out this morning with our national radar map, and on this map we can find most of the activity is right along that front. Some of the heavier thunderstorms early this morning are occurring along the lower half of that front throughout Texas. Highest tops there to around 50,000 feet. Let's get a better look at some of those thunderstorms. We'll go to our radar site from Corpus Christi. You can see a lot of scattered thunderstorms around Corpus Christi, some also around San Antonio and up in the Austin area. Some thunderstorms also scattered along the Texas Gulf Coast. Back to national radar, we find showers and thunderstorms again along the entire length of that front. Tops to about 36,000 feet in Mississippi, 38,000-foot tops to thunderstorms off the South Atlantic coast, 37-foot tops off the west coast of Florida. Then some thunderstorms also this morning up in the Great Lakes, tops there only to 22,000 feet. Also a few showers and thunderstorms in the extreme southern portions of Arizona and extreme northern portions of Mexico. Wayne?
Next, we'll check the national map, see what's been happening with the weather during the past 24 hours and bring us up to date to the current situation. There's a broad band of rain which extended from Texas through the Ohio River Valley into parts of New York and the Connecticut area. Some of the rains were pretty generous. For the most part, a quarter to a half-inch amounts were very common, all the way from western Tennessee and adjacent parts of Arkansas through Indiana, southern Ohio, and into the New York City area, parts of Connecticut. Of course, some areas which were right under these thunderstorms got considerably heavier amounts of rain, although those weren't certainly widespread. Better than an inch of rain was reported at New York City yesterday evening. At Dulles Airport outside Washington, D.C., they picked up 2 inches of rain with these passing storms. Storm passed right over Latrobe, Pennsylvania. They got a downpour of 4.5 inches of rain. Parts of eastern Kentucky yesterday morning reported 1.25 inches in just 15 minutes. Around the Indianapolis area, 2 to 3 inches reported in a number of locations. And the southern part of Indiana, some very heavy rains with these slow-moving storms. Salem in the southern part of that state picked up 7.25 inches of rain. Now, over the past 6 or 7 days, some areas of the Corn Belt, the soybean growing areas, have had some good rainfall, and they certainly need it out there. Around the Columbus, Ohio area, they've had 5 inches of rain since Friday, 3 to 5 inches in the Cincinnati area, 3 to 4 inches, Fort Wayne, Terre Haute, Indianapolis, and 1 to 3 inches have fallen over many areas of Kentucky. Now, as we look at some other places, though, it's been relatively dry. Most of Illinois and Iowa have had 1 inch or less, and most of Tennessee have thus far reported less than a ½ inch, although they should get more today with this slow-moving front moving across the area. There was also a little disturbance affecting parts of eastern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin yesterday afternoon with some showers and thunder showers, although most areas had 1/4 inch or less. But there was some hail, 2 to 3 inches deep, piling up in some areas around the Twin Cities. Otherwise, across the northern and central plains and into the northern Rockies with this rather large high-pressure area, conditions were rather cool but also dry as well. As you look in the southern states, there were some brief heavy rains in parts of central Florida, some 2-inch rainfall amounts reported there. There were flash flood watches at various times during the day in southern Texas. They had heavy rains around the Houston area. 1 inch in 10 minutes at Del Rio, Texas, reported yesterday. And Lamar, that's near Corpus Christi, picked up 3 1/3 inches of rain. And it looks like they're going to have more heavy storms today, and so flash flood watches have already been issued again for today for parts of southern Texas. Now, out west, the story was one of a lot of heat again yesterday. Very warm temperatures, record setters at Seattle at 93 degrees. Olympia broke their record. In the interior of the Northwest, Hanford got up to 103 degrees, 110 degrees in Medford, Oregon. Redding, California, 118 degrees. And if anybody was seeking some relief from the heat in Yosemite National Park, they would have been disappointed. Got up to 101 there. In the southwest, there were some scattered showers and thunderstorms across portions of Arizona and New Mexico, between a quarter and a half inch of rain at Alamogordo, but most of that is dissipated during the nighttime hours. Now, checking some of the early morning temperatures across the country, we find 60s from Michigan and Indiana into New England states this morning. Otherwise 70s as you get into the city of the front, all the way from New York to Tennessee and southward into Florida. With that high pressure area, cool 50s across North Dakota and southward through eastern Colorado, northwest Oklahoma, and some of those cool temperatures in the 50s extend into Michigan's Upper Peninsula. We find 60s through the Intermountain region, 50s along the coast with areas of fog, visibility down to a half mile at Arcata, California, Fort Ord down to a 1/16 of a mile. Still quite warm, 70s to around 80 through the central valleys of California. Now at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, 5 Central, temperatures around the country range from 39 degrees in Craig, Colorado to 90 degrees at Yuma and Glendale, Arizona. High temperatures for this afternoon. We'll probably see some more records out west through the interior, 90s and 100s once again. Some of those 90s extending across the Intermountain region, parts of the Rocky Mountains, upper 80s, lower 90s as you head into the southern plains, and still very humid with 90-degree temperatures from the lower Mississippi Valley to the mid-Atlantic coast. Early tomorrow morning, low temperatures will drop into the 50s to around 60 degrees from the Great Lakes across the northern plains into the northwest. Warm temperatures in the 80s for lows in the desert areas of the southwest, and still some muggy 70s from the coast of Virginia southward along the Gulf Coast. Joan?
Well, it's time now to take a look at our series of forecast maps, which will cover the period from Thursday evening through early on Sunday morning. Let's start out with this evening's map, and we find showers and thunderstorms, and once again will cover much of the east and the Gulf states. Best chance for these across Texas and Louisiana, also from the southern Appalachians northward into New England. Scattered showers and thunderstorms also this evening in the southwestern part of the country. By early tomorrow morning, we find scattered showers and thunderstorms across southern Florida, again along the front from the Texas Gulf Coast northward to the Maritimes. Best chance for these from New England right down into New York State. Otherwise, no precipitation in the forecast for tomorrow morning. Then on Saturday morning, we find again showers and thunderstorms across southern Florida, also scattered along the front from southern New England through the southeast and down to the central Gulf states. Showers and thunderstorms also through parts of Arizona and New Mexico and down into northern Mexico. Also some showers and thunderstorms with a cold front across parts of northwest Ontario and Manitoba. Finally, by early on Sunday morning, some showers will be moving into the coast of British Columbia, over Vancouver Island, and also over coastal Washington. Showers and thunderstorms will also reach northwest Ontario and move northward into Quebec, and showers and thunderstorms will remain as that front slowly moves eastward from the Maritimes along the Atlantic coast right down into Florida. Wayne?
Next up, we have the flying weather, and because of the murky weather around the Boston area this morning, flights bound for Boston will likely experience some delays. Now let's check the morning map, and low ceilings and visibilities of a combination of haze, fog, and areas of rain extend over a broad area from parts of New England through the Ohio River Valley and down across Arkansas, parts of Louisiana, and then we have the low clouds and fog along much of the Pacific coast. Just one area of turbulence, and that's with some heavier showers, perhaps a few embedded thunder showers in the vicinity of that front from parts of southern New England and into the Ohio River Valley, areas of moderate to 35,000 feet. Now on the map for later on today, we'll still see MVFR weather associated with low ceilings and areas of rain from the New England states and through the upper Ohio Valley, and then stretching a narrow band right along that cold front all the way to the Texas Gulf Coast. Otherwise, VFR conditions can be expected across much of the Midwest, the plains, and right to the West Coast. A couple of areas of turbulence for later today. We have the thermals in the southwest, 14,000 feet. Now, thunderstorms at the southern end of that front across Texas, Louisiana, could extend up to around 50,000 feet or so, and then more locally severe convective turbulence as you get into the central Appalachians and into southern New England will extend up to about 45,000 feet. On the map for early tomorrow morning, again, MVFR weather with morning precipitation, low ceilings all the way from the New England states and southward along that cold front, and the low clouds and fog will be moving in along the west coast again. one area of turbulence tomorrow morning. We would expect some heavier showers, perhaps some thunder showers over the northeastern part of the country with areas of moderate turbulence to 45,000 feet. Now it's time for winds aloft. Joan has them beginning at 2,000 feet above ground level.
We find high pressure circulation in the southeast, also over the southern high plains, high pressure over western portions of Hudson Bay, but low pressure circulation over the eastern lakes. Wind speeds are all less than 25 knots at this level. Up at 10,000 feet, we find light and variable winds under high pressure out in the Great Basin, but 25 to 50 knot winds are found from the central Appalachians out to the mid-Atlantic coast. High pressure again over the southeast and trough of low pressure over the eastern lakes. Up at 18,000 feet, now again we find high pressure out over the far west, center of high pressure over the Great Basin, but we find 25 to 50 knot winds extending from the northwest through the Plain States over the Ohio Valley and then northward into New England. Finally, up at 39,000 feet, we find the jet stream extending from the mid-Mississippi Valley through the Ohio Valley and then out into the Atlantic. Strongest winds are between 50 and 100 knots. These reach from the Pacific Northwest across the Plain States and then turn northward into New England. It's time now for Weather Watch. Let's get back to Wayne.
First, along the Atlantic coast, there's a small craft advisory for the lower Chesapeake Bay and along the coast from Cape Henlopen in Delaware to Virginia Beach, Virginia, for southwesterly winds 15 to 25 knots. On the lower Great Lakes, there's a small craft advisory from Maumee Bay, Ohio, and Lake Erie eastward through the Niagara River to Fairhaven on Lake Ontario. Winds will be northeasterly to 20 knots with 2 to 4 foot waves. Moving down to Texas now. There is a flash flood watch today through the hill country, Edwards Plateau, and into south central Texas. In New Mexico, there's a flash flood warning until 10 a.m. Mountain Time for southern Eddy County. Moving out to California, we have morning fog advisories from the central coast around Monterey Bay northward to the Oregon border. For marine interest, there's a gale warning in the Strait of Juan de Fuca for westerly winds to 35 knots, decreasing this afternoon. We have small craft advisories along the Washington, Oregon, and northern California coast to Point Arena. Winds will be north to northwesterly, 15 to 25 knots with 4 to 5 foot swells. Finally, there's an advisory in San Francisco Bay for westerly winds to 25 knots by this afternoon. Our last item of business this morning, if you are going to be traveling around the country during this summer, you can still keep up on the weather with us each weekday morning. You can get our station listing guide, tells you where to find us each morning. If you'd like a copy, send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to AM Weather, Owings Mills, Maryland, 21117. That's all the time we have for this Thursday morning. Have a good day. We'll see you right here again on Friday.
Sir, you did startle me. Begging your pardon, but everything here is so...
AM Weather is made possible by grants from the Federal Aviation Administration, the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, the AOPA Air Safety Foundation, National Aviation Insurance when personal service makes a difference, Phillips 66, providing products and services to pilots at 800 FBOs, ESD Weather Systems, and the 99.